Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are doing wonderful out there today. You already know how we do here. We're going to just wait a few seconds while we do the intro, while we wait for everybody to get their notifications and for everybody to get in, and so we can get this whole party started. So welcome again, to another video, another live stream. Today we're going to be talking about, well, the Mexican dream. Not the American dream, but the Mexican dream. Which, again, one can argue that the American dream, well, it's basically the same as the Mexican dream. Because, well, Mexico is in America. Once you move out to Mexico, you quickly realize that most Mexicans, well, they consider themselves Americans because they're in America. And some of them, they get a little upset or insulted when you yourself call yourself an American because, well, they're American as well. But, I mean, I don't know. I really don't really get that whole situation there because, well, why would they get insulted for you calling yourself an American if they are also American and they want to call themselves American? So it's a whole thing that starts getting, confusing after a little bit. But the thing is because, well, if you're coming from the United States, you are actually a, estadounidense. Okay, that's how they say it in Spanish. But I mean, again, I've argued with them before. In English, there's really no word for it. I mean, you would say that you're from the United States of America, or that you are a United Stateser, I guess. I don't know. So,
Bruh.
it's a lot easier for a Canadian, again, also in America, in North America. But, they would, they're Canadian from Canada. They call themselves Canadians and all that stuff. So, I mean, like I said, it gets a little confusing, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about, well, the Mexican dream. The whole idea of that American dream, right? The quote unquote American dream, which has been exported, to the rest of the world. Because, the whole idea of the American dream, the freedom and everything that comes from that, well, that's an idea. It's ideals, but it's basically an idea, right? That has been exported to the rest of the world. Many, about 100 years ago, the whole idea of a free country and freedom in a country like the USA was hard to come by. It wasn't something that you would see everywhere. But now, fast forward to 2024, a good majority of the world, in one shape, form, or another, they kind of have the ideals of America, or what that whole thing was, which was, again, freedom, right? And then chasing that American dream. But for anyone out there that's from the United States, or even Canada, but anyone that's from that part of the world, well, you already know that whole idea of the American dream is basically gone. It's not non-existent these days anymore. And so a lot of people that are native from the USA, well, you're looking for some version of that American dream elsewhere. And so that's where a country like Mexico comes in because, well, they're neighbors. And once you're in Mexico, you quickly realize how similar, Mexico is to the USA. And so for a lot of people, well, it's a lot easier to replicate or emulate, that whole idea of the American dream out here in Mexico. All right. And so, again, the whole idea of the American dream. And so what is the American dream? What was the American dream? We got to start there, right? So what would be considered the American dream? Well, again, since they were landing on Ellis Island, way back when, 100 years ago, or even longer than that, a lot of immigrants and a lot of people would come to America. They would leave whatever country they were coming from because they were either suffering from an economic downturn, or again, some sort of war, or some sort of starvation, whatever it is. Okay, and a lot of people would leave their countries wherever they were coming from. Back in the day it was Europe, right? A lot of Europeans would come to the USA, and then they would try to create a better life for themselves. Okay, and that better life for themselves was, again, coined or called the American dream. All right. But again, what was what was the thing that people were looking for, more than anything else, as they were landing on Plymouth Rock, right? As they were, being welcomed by the Statue of Liberty, on Ellis Island and all that stuff. Well, they were looking for freedom. First and foremost, and most importantly, they were looking for freedom. And again, freedom can mean many different things. And it does take many different shapes and forms. Again, it's everything from economic freedom to religious freedom to, freedom of expression, just freedom. Just so many freedoms, freedom to do whatever you want, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, now in 2024, the whole idea of freedom is almost non-existent to a native-born American. And the older American you are, the older you've been in the USA, so the longer you've been in the USA, but the older you are, well, the more you remember a free country, a real free USA, in which the American dream was still alive and well. And so, a lot of people that are coming out to Mexico, well, they see that a lot of the ideals that the USA had for the longest time are still alive and well out here. So a lot of people are coming to Mexico in order to try to recreate that, at the very least have a semblance of that freedom, that idea of, I want to just live my life, enjoy my life, have a higher quality of life. It's not just about financial freedom. Sure, a lot of people that are moving out here, they're also, getting that, financial freedom. They're also getting that what is it like? It's since things are less, since things are less expensive here, then of course, that also helps with the financial freedom. But you're not really that financially free, especially if you're still making U.S. dollars, right? If you're still making the home currency, if you're still relying on your country, for currency, for money. And so you're not really that financially free. Again, when a lot of immigrants, come to the USA, they're not, no matter where they come from, they're not making money from their home country and bringing it to the USA. No. They're literally leaving everything behind, right? Correct? And then they're coming to the USA and starting anew. And then they're earning the US dollar. And again, now they're becoming financially independent and free by, earning that dollar. But, for a lot of immigrants that are moving to Mexico from the USA, for example, or Canada, they're still relying on that currency. Therefore, they're not really that financially free. And so, that whole idea of, the Mexican dream, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Because the reality is that in order for you to achieve that Mexican dream, well, that means that you got to totally assimilate. You got to assimilate 1,000,000% into the Mexican economy and rely on only making, not only making, but making, to begin with, Mexican pesos, or at least, starting to, be part of the economy, like for reals. And so I get it. I know that there's a lot of people out there in the audience and a lot of people that are looking into moving into Mexico that, well, you're already past your working age and you are now at retirement age. And so you're looking into moving to Mexico, just to retire and to be able to cash in your retirement check, your pension, your 401k, whatever it is, and live, the rest of your days out here, live the best days of your life at the end of your life here, with that money that you work so hard to get. But you got to remember that, there's tons of people that are looking into moving to Mexico, and the demographics are changing dramatically. So a lot of the people that are now moving to Mexico are actually younger and younger and younger each and every day. And so that's who I'm really speaking to here, because that's what the American dream used to be. Again, bring us your tired and you're hungry, and we will give them shelter. That's what the U.S. used to be about. And, it's still about that, but that's another story. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, anyone that's still young, working age, and you're looking into coming to Mexico. Well, and you're looking into achieving that Mexican dream. Well, again, that means that you have to assimilate as much as possible into the Mexican culture, just like the immigrants that would come into the USA or Canada, they had to assimilate into the American culture or the Canadian culture, as much as possible, and earn Canadian dollars or US dollars or whatever it is in order to really, achieve that dream. So it's the same thing, as, more immigrants are moving out here, well, that's part of the deal. So I want to touch on something real quick because I know that in the news, or at least in the, local, foreigner expat community, world, I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot of viewers out there. There's a lot of people out there that are, watching these videos and watching this content. That are looking into moving to Mexico, moving abroad, whatever. And one of the things that everyone's talking about these days is the exchange rate. Oh my gosh, the dollar is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and the peso is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm not going to be able to move to Mexico. Well, again, that's not necessarily the case. Again, if you are only relying, on currency from your home country, yeah, it's going to get more difficult, you know what I mean? Obviously, because, your currency is worth less and less each and every day. But if you're coming out here and you're, again, assimilating, you're integrating into the Mexican economy, you're starting a business in Mexico, you're earning in Mexican pesos in one shape, form, or another, well, you're going to be totally fine. You're going to be great. It's not, dire. In fact, it's the opposite. Again, you can ask a typical Mexican these days, and you're going to see that they're making more money. And on top of making more money, their currency is worth more, so they can buy more. They can get more bang for their own peso. All right. And so on and so forth. So, you got to keep that in mind, all right? So, yeah, of course there's inflation in Mexico, just like there is in the rest of the world. There's a price increase in Mexico, well, because, again, it's supply and demand, and, well, now Mexico is the place to be, so more and more people are coming to Mexico from not just the U.S. and Canada, but from all over the world. So, again, more demand, will obviously, raise the price, obviously the inflation. And there's so many other factors, okay, that are involved. But again, if you ask a typical Mexican, some Mexicans are out there and saying, yeah, I used to make 50,000 pesos. I'm just giving you a broad example. I used to make like 50,000 pesos a few years ago, and now I'm making 100,000 pesos. So, the increase in prices in many things, well, it's not felt as much because, first of all, most Mexicans are very frugal. They're not looking to have the newest iPhone or the newest car or, having all the bells and whistles, and all that stuff, in their house and so on and so forth. They're more frugal. They're more practical. They're more realistic, with all these things. So, as they earn money, as they save money, they are investing it correctly. And I'm not just talking about, investing it like in gold and silver, whatever. No, again, like in buying a house, or even investing in rebuilding that house. And they do it slowly but surely. They're not looking into, indebting themselves in order to achieve these things. They pay as they go. They earn, they pay. That's how they kind of do it. And then on top of that, remember, they spend a lot of money in other things, like family, fun and entertainment, living life, quality of life, and all these other things, So, but the reality is that you got to remember that Mexico, okay, is not the USA. And when you're coming to Mexico, you now have to, again, if you really want to live here, and especially if you're younger, again, younger meaning you're not retired, well, then you have to assimilate to the Mexican economy and the culture. So, if all of a sudden, think about it, you're coming from the USA, for example, okay, you're coming from the USA and you're escaping, the insanity of the USA these days. On top of that, that your currency is worth less and less and it's more difficult to survive out there. You're coming out to Mexico, all right, in order to seek that freedom that we talked about earlier, that financial freedom as well, and so on and so forth. So, it's your job, it's your duty anyways it's your duty to figure out a way to eventually integrate into Mexican culture and earn in Mexican pesos and take advantage okay, of this growth and take advantage of this strong peso, all right, and not, constantly rely on the dollar, especially if you're educated enough, all right, to the point where you already know that the US dollar is going to crash at some point, right? That the US empire, the dollar, all this stuff is not going to be around. We don't know how long. It might, I mean, again, it could be tomorrow or it could be 10 years from now. That's not the point. The point is that, there's a lot of people out there that are constantly talking about this, like, oh, the dollar's going to fail. The currency is going to fail. The U.S. Empire is going to fail. All these things are going to fail. So why are you still relying on that? Why are you not preparing accordingly to make sure that you can, be away? What is it like now? And I have to rely on that. So, for example, me, if I'm earning in pesos and only in pesos, do I care if the US dollar falls? No, not necessarily. Why would I? I'm earning in pesos. I'm in a Mexican economy and everything is in pesos out here. Sure, obviously we know that, if there's a big economic, a big economic downturn, around the world and something like that were to happen, well, yeah, of course, every country is going to feel it one shape, form, or another. But there's many factors involved as to how they're going to feel it and whether or not they're actually going to feel it or not. Again, why are not people not understanding that if Mexico's a strong economy and there a lot of countries rely on Mexico, for manufacturing and exportation of food and so many other things, what makes you think that their currency is not going to, get even stronger if the dollar falls? I mean, we're seeing the dollar failing, right? The dollar is, right now, falling in value. And what are we seeing with the peso there? Well, it's getting stronger. So you gotta, keep all that in mind. It's not just about, that whole idea of, the Mexican, peso and the Mexican economy and everything about Mexico solely relying on the USA, which it's not. Yeah, it is the number one trading partner. But that doesn't mean that, Mexico is, going to just disappear off the face of the earth, if the USA, has some economic turmoil. Remember, the Mexican people are more used to or better adapted to, dealing with hardship as opposed to a typical American, which is, they're fighting, over toilet paper or whatever it is over there, So it's very, very different. So let me, hold on a second. Let me see what some of the comments are saying. Yeah, so, the reality is that, like, let's just get into it real quick. So right now, a lot of people are complaining, for example, about, the dollar to peso exchange rate as, as the peso is, again, getting stronger. Okay, so if you're earning in dollars, you're, again, every time you go exchange money and get pesos, you're getting less and less pesos each and every day. And the reality is that, yeah, you're getting less pesos. And so all that means is that you got to start adapting to the reality of, again, your currency not being as valuable as it used to be. All right. And you got to remember that no matter what, you're still getting, 16 pesos to $1. All right. As opposed to, being 1 for 1. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to move to, whatever, Guatemala, or I'm moving to Ecuador, or I'm moving to El Salvador, whatever. I don't know. Some of these other countries out there, or even other countries out in like Southeast Asia, and not realizing that, by the way, they say, oh yeah, because it's a dollar, they use the dollar over there, they have a dollar currency, so a lot easier. But, a lot of you guys are not realizing, hey, what do things cost over there? And when you see how expensive things are over there, they're just as expensive for reals as they are in the USA. And so, again, if you're moving to Mexico, okay, I need to emphasize this over and over again, not just here, but, future episodes. If you're moving to Mexico only to save a few bucks, then perhaps it's best if you stay where you're at. The real reason you should be moving to Mexico is for a better life. A better life for you, a better life for your family, a better life for, again, your loved ones, whatever, but just a better life, better quality of life. You want to improve your mental health. You want to improve your physical health. You want to be able to literally have time to smell the roses. You want to be able to get along with your neighbors. You want to live in a community. You want to live, it's for all these reasons. There's a million reasons, okay, that I can list off as to why you would want to move to Mexico or you should move to Mexico. All right. And the financial aspect, okay, doesn't even have to be on the list. All right. Again, it's a benefit. It's a plus. It's a cherry on top. Even if Mexico, okay, let's just, I'm going to put it out there. At least for me. Again, everyone out there in the audience is different, but at least for me, okay, even if Mexico were just as expensive as the USA, and there was a very similar, kind of scenario when it came to like the financial situation here, I would still live here, 1 million times out of a million, all right? Like 100%. Because I'm moving out here for the culture, for the quality of life, just all these other factors, okay, that have nothing to do with the financial aspects to it, okay? So if you're moving out here, again, for the right reasons, meaning you're moving out here because you want to improve your own life, okay? You're tired of, living the life that you're living over there for whatever the reason it is. Again, you're escaping tyranny. You're, you don't feel like you have freedom anymore. There's too many toxic people around you, whatever the reason is. There's so many reasons, too many reasons to list, okay? And you're coming out here to seek shelter, to seek a better quality of life, then yeah, you're going to be fine. And the whole idea of money, well, again, that's just a problem you're going to have no matter where you are in the world. And you're going to have to figure that out no matter where you are in the world, whether you stay where you're at or you move to Antarctica. It doesn't matter. You got to figure that out. Okay, so at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that moving out here and being able to have all these other aspects of your life improve allows you to focus on being able to earn the money you need to earn, whatever currency it is you need to earn in order to survive and live a good life and pay your bills and all this other stuff. So the reality is that these are the things that people are just not most Americans are not considering. A lot of Americans are just considering, hey, I'm just moving out to Mexico because it's cheaper. And now that it's not cheaper, why am I moving to a third world country? I'll just stay here in my new third world country, and that's the thing, so it's all about the Mexican dream. And what is the Mexican dream? Well, if you've been to Mexico, you know anything about Mexico, you know what the Mexican dream is. It's what the U.S. American dream used to be, which was leave me alone, what is it like? The real definition of freedom. What today would be considered, I guess, a libertarian. All right, which is again, live and let live. Right, care for your fellow neighbor, care for your fellow human. Forget. Don't be giving allegiance to a government or corporations and just all these things that what the U.S. used to stand for. That's why a lot of people say, oh, Mexico is what the U.S. used to be, 50 years ago or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just because Mexico never lost its way, per se, and the USA has lost its way. It's turned into, well, this hot mess. All right? So, that's really kind of like the whole idea. Again, if you're moving to Mexico, it's you got to, it's because of the Mexican dream. What is that Mexican dream? It's just, again, being able to afford a better quality of life. Not afford money-wise, just being able to, again, dedicate that time to the things that you love and being able to live the life that you really want to live and not have to slave away and not have to live in a world that, you don't even want to live in. And look, I get it. Some people do want to live in the USA or Canada. They want to live in those worlds. But, look, I mean, I wish I could show you, right now. But, like, I saw something recently where they were talking about U.S. infrastructure, okay? They were talking about how, right now, you could live in a residential neighborhood. First of all, in the USA, how, they have everything zoned off. This zone is residential zoning. This is industrial zoning. This is commercial zoning, whatever, right? And for example, they'll separate everything. Well, they'll have, residential zone, okay? And it's, squared off. And then right next to it, they got a commercial zone, and that's where they'll have like the supermarkets and the strip malls and all the things that you need. Your McDonald's, your dentist, whatever, right? They're all in that mall, and it's right next to it, right? And the reality is that you need a car in order to get from point A to point B. And if you try to walk there, it's like 2 miles. It's like a whole 2 mile walk that you got to walk around all this area just to get to there, where they can easily build a path, from the residential zone to the commercial zone, so you can just walk over there, do your groceries, and walk back home. And so it's just like so many little things like that. Like, for example, in Mexico, I could just walk out of my house, all right, and just go to the butcher, go to the fruit vendor, go to the little, tiendita, which is like the little corner store, go to the OXXO, which is like 7-Eleven, go just and take care of all of my needs and do everything. And I don't need a car. I don't even need a bicycle if I don't have one, So it's just so many aspects to what life is, out here, compared to what it is in the USA. In the USA, you used to be able to do that. In the USA, you used to live a very similar life than you did out here. That you do out here right now. Okay, real quick, guys, hold on. I see Peaceful Sounds, sent me a $5 super chat with a question. Shout out to Peaceful Sounds out there. Thank you very much. All right, so Peaceful Sounds says, can you live comfortably in Merida on 100K USD annually? Yes. You can live extremely comfortable. Again, think about it. If like the average Mexican is making like around, again, the average Mexican, they're living pretty nice, comfortable, whatever, me, I'm not even living like super crazy comfortable. I'm just living, I can afford my bills. I don't really got to worry too much. But anyways, I'm making around, or my expenses are around, 1,500 a month. So let's just put that on the high end, all right? 2,000 a month. All right? To live a humble, normal, healthy lifestyle. All right, so $2,000 a month, okay? 2,000 times 12 is $24,000, okay? So yeah, you'll be fine with $100,000 a year. So what is $100,000 a year divided by 12? Let's look into that real quick. And I'm guessing that's before taxes or whatever. I don't know. Whatever, I'm guessing $100,000 clean. So $100,000 divided by 12 is going to equal $8,300 something dollars, okay? So $8,300. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's like what the mayor makes, what the governor makes, or whatever. That's a lot of money. I don't know what they make. They might make a lot more than that, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, okay? In fact, let's put into the actual exchange rate at the moment real quick. So, I just to give you guys all right, what's 8,000 at today's exchange rate, okay? Okay, sorry. 8,300. Okay, so you're going to be making a month, you're going to be making 138,000 pesos, okay? So let's round it off, okay? 135,000 pesos, 130,000 as the exchange rate goes low, okay? So 130,000 pesos, okay? The average Mexican makes a month 30,000 pesos. That's on the high end, okay? So if the average high end Mexican is probably making around 30,000 pesos and you're coming out here with 130,000 a month, you're going to be totally fine, okay? So, yes, it's plenty of money, okay? Plenty of money, all right? So, and again, look, let's just, I'm going to do the calculator, okay? So let's say, again, 8,333, okay? Times, let's say that the exchange rate drops all the way down to 10, 1 to 10, okay? Because you got to think about the future, right? I don't know. I'm guessing this is like some sort of retirement or whatever. So 8,300, whatever, times, exchange rate at 10, okay? You're still going to be making 83,000 pesos, okay? Again, when, the typical kind of Mexican family is making around 30,000 pesos. Look, if you are a police officer in Mexico, you're making around $500 a month. Okay, or if you're working at OXXO or 7-Eleven or at the grocery store, just a regular low-end entry-level type job, you're making like around $500 a month. Okay, so yes, $8,000, okay, is plenty of money for you to be extremely comfortable. Okay, so and of course these things will change as the exchange rate changes. Okay, so. Oh, shout out to Greg out there with the $25 super chat. Shout out to Greg. Thank you very much, Greg. Muchos gracias. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. Appreciate it. So, no question, just he's just saying, every little bit helps. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yes, please give please click the like button if you haven't already. Where is it? Let's see if the algorithm will pick this up. Sometimes it does. Hit the like button. Hold on. I think it's because I got too much in my background here. There we go. All right. See, that's an AI. Hey, look at that. There you go. All right. Woohoo! Look at that. How cool is that? Shout out to everyone out there. Thank you for hitting the likes. Thank you for all the love and appreciation. Steve, okay, so yeah, so about the weather, where I live is very hot, because I live in the tropics, all right, and I got the beach, a drive away. I'm really close, but most Mexicans, they don't live in the jungle where I live, and they don't live in the desert where the north of Mexico is. A lot of them live in the mountains. If you look at a map, you'll see how mountains. So the climate's actually pretty nice, in other regions of the country. So, but that's the thing, though. Like at the end of the day, even if your dollar is going to be losing value, you got to remember you're still going to be getting more bang for your buck out here than you are over there. Right now, this, okay? In the USA, in order for you to even rent, an apartment or a house or whatever, you're going to be paying at the very least, in the $1,000 range. And $1,000 is around, 20,000 pesos, give or take, That's not what the rents are here. Sure, they have them out here for that amount. If you're willing to pay that, they got rents out here that are in that amount, but you're also getting, a huge house. My rent, is 6,000 pesos a month. 6,000 pesos a month is, again, let's just, do the math real quick. What's 6,000 a month? It's $361. And it has increased. Again, it has increased, as, inflation, as the dollar is losing value and whatever. But at today's exchange rate, it is $361. Where are you can't, if you got a motorhome and you're renting a lot, just a lot to put your motorhome in, it's more than $361, or it's around the same. So just think about that. Cat Obi is asking me if I've taken the Mayan train. I have not. I have not taken the Mayan train because, again, that costs money, but hopefully in the future I will. And on top of that, it's, the whole thing with the Mayan train, it's still, it works, it doesn't work, it's like this whole thing. It's still like in the early stages of all that. So I'm kind of waiting for them to work out all the kinks, before I go out there and make that trip. Okay? But yeah, I'll make the trip eventually. I know there's other YouTubers that have done that. You should watch their videos if you're interested in checking that out. But at some point I will. I mean, look, when they do complete the whole Mayan train thing, I definitely want to take the whole ride. So we'll see. But the Mayan train, right now, the reality is that it's like a luxury. And they have different price ranges and points, for the people. So, if you're a local, you pay a lot less. If you're local Yucatecan, from the area, you pay a lot less than if you're a tourist on a tourist visa. You're paying the most amount. You're on the other opposite end. So that's also like a thing there. So I don't know what I would be paying, with my permanent residency, but still, it's I feel like it's, for me right now at the moment, it's a little pricey to just, take a train through the jungle. What am I going to really see? It's like if you've driven through Florida before, there's stretches of nothing. You're just seeing trees. So for me, it's like, if I need to make that trip, I can ride just as comfortably on a bus or, whatever. And again, where am I really going? So But yeah, in the future, I'll look into that. So that's because I know a lot of people have asked me about the whole Mayan train situation. Um, Pristine Persian says, "Hey Jose, when I first started looking for apartments in Puerto Morelos, it was $500 to $600 range. Now, only a few months later, it looks like $800. Now, that is literally only five on the net. So again, you got to remember of the exchange rate. So look, let me just give you an example. Okay, real quick. Okay, so 6,000 pesos. Okay, when the exchange rate was 1 to 20. Okay, so 6,000. So my rent was 300. Okay, so when it was 1 to 20, okay, my rent was $300. But because of the exchange rate, drop, meaning stronger peso and a weakening dollar, now my rent is $61 more expensive a month. All right. And, again, 61 times 12, that's an extra $732 a month that I have to pay in rent just because of the exchange rate situation. Okay. So you got to remember some of it has to do with that as well. Rich Muscle says, keep the American dream in America, folks. This is Mexico. Correct. I love the country and embrace it for what it is. Besides, the Mexican dream is much more freedom than the American dream. So, that's, again, what I was saying earlier in the show, where, now it's the Mexican dream. And if you're moving to Mexico, you have to be moving out here for the right reasons. If you're just moving out here to save a few bucks, listen, there's a bunch of other options that you might want to look into. As Mexico becomes a more desirable place for people to come, all right, and as Mexicans, are also, they want to move to more desirable places, and just the regular growth of things. Things are going to get more expensive. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? There's just many factors. Again, just a supply and demand aspect to it alone, and so. The whole idea is that, the Mexican dream is very different to what the American dream is these days, okay? You got to remember, too, that especially, and man, it's been decades already, but for the longest time, the whole American dream, was people would move to the USA from their country, okay? They would earn in dollars, okay? And they would send that money back to their home country. But as, again, as all these things are changing, a lot of immigrants, okay? A lot of immigrants, let's say from Mexico. There's no reason for a Mexican to go to the USA and Canada to earn the same amount or just a little bit more than what they can earn here in Mexico. So again, the whole idea of, let's say a Mexican, just a regular normal Mexican, moving to USA or Canada was because they can make a lot of money, all right? At least that currency was worth a lot more. And so then they can get that money, bring it back over here and really, really do a lot of things with that money. But nowadays, again, think about it. If right now, the jobs that they're offering, okay, I've seen jobs that they offer Mexicans, to go to the USA or Canada, and they're getting paid again, somewhere in like the $500, $600 a month range, So now think about it. What are you going to, let's just say it's $1,000. What are you going to do as a Mexican, okay, going to the USA and Canada, earning $1,000, and you still got to pay your bills over there, right? And I'm just talking about working in a field, working some sort of a job under the table type of thing. But anyways, you're making around $1,000, okay? And, that's barely enough, if enough at all, to cover your bills in the USA. That's why you see a lot of immigrants that they live, out in the fields, they live, a bunch of Mexicans live together, a bunch of immigrants live together, because again, they're trying to make that money last. Or trying to save as much of that money as possible. But anyways, long story short is if a lot of Mexicans have the potential, to start their own business, to work on their own, even have a job, and then, also start their own business, again, there's combinations of things that they can do in order to earn, that same amount of money in Mexico, and they're in the comfort of their own home. They're in the comfort of their home country. They got their family, they got their food, they got their culture, they got their everything here, and they're earning basically the same, and they don't have to leave. So why, go? So even that whole idea for Mexicans and other, Latin American countries or other developing countries that are now developed or have been developing, or again, they're close to developed already. What's the incentive to going to these countries anymore? So that's why even what you're seeing with the immigrant situation in the USA, notice who's coming across the border. It's people that, they come from real, they come from countries that are really, 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 really poor. Okay. And, for them, that $600 a month or $1,000 a month is still a lot of money. And, some of them are looking to assimilate into American culture and live in America and eventually work their way up that ladder. And a lot of them are still doing, what all immigrants did or do, which is earn that money and send it back to their home country and just keep, sending money back over there and building a home for themselves or building a business for themselves or whatever, or both in their home country, and then eventually just moving back to their home country. So that's what the American dream has been for the longest time now, for many, many years. But when a lot of people, think about the American dream, they're thinking about, again, Ellis Island. They're thinking about, over 100 years ago when, the immigrants were coming from Europe or other parts of the world, and they were coming, again, your grandparents or great-grandparents, okay, that came to the USA from whatever country they came from, and they they came out here and they built themselves an amazing life. That is not, a thing as much anymore as it used to be. But in Mexico, that is a thing. That's definitely a thing. Again, you can come out here as an immigrant from whatever country, okay? And you can come out here and you can achieve that Mexican dream. And so, look, I'm talking about this in a future video, but you got to remember, as Mexico is growing and their economy is getting better, and again, everyone has more money to spend, and they want to also experience all the cultures and all this other stuff. And a lot of times, in order for a Mexican to experience another culture, well, they had to leave Mexico and go to that other country and check it out. But now think about it. What's happening to Mexico is, well, what happened to the USA, which is, a lot of foreigners, a lot of people from South Korea, a lot of people from, Asia, a lot of people from India, a lot of people from Latin America, a lot of people from certain parts of Europe, some Africans, Haitians, so many people from all over the world, are now coming to Mexico, and they're bringing their culture with them. And they're starting up a business, whether they're selling sushi or Korean barbecue, or, if you're an American, you're starting, you're bringing in real barbecue, from wherever you're coming from, whatever. The point is that now you're bringing your culture here. Now you're bringing, all these things here, okay? Like sushi, whatever it is. And the Mexicans, yeah, they want to eat sushi. Yeah, they want to eat, Indian food. Yeah, they want to eat, whatever it is you got. And it's not just food, but it's all these other things that come, with what you're bringing, with your culture. Just like a lot of these immigrants that moved to the USA, brought their culture, their food, and all these things with them. And, they were able to not just assimilate to the USA, but they were able to also integrate their own culture within the US, cultural scheme or whatever. So it's the same thing here. A lot of Mexicans, yeah, sure, they love tacos. Tacos are great. Mexican food is the best. But, think about it. If all of a sudden an Italian that's leaving, the insanity of Europe these days, okay, and they're moving to, Mexico, and now they're bringing, how to make real Italian pizza to Mexico, well, the line's going to be out the door. Mexicans love pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? So imagine an actual, Little Caesar coming out here, not the corporation, but, some little guy named Caesar, coming out. Anyways, coming out here and making, real Italian pizza. or, Japanese dude, making real sushi, or, Korea, whatever it is, and, whatever. Like I said, there's all these cultures, all these countries, all these whatever. There's all, so many reasons why so many people want to move to Mexico these days. So that's the thing, we're seeing a giant shift. And so now the whole idea of the American dream, for just a normal, typical immigrant, well, then I'm looking into moving to the USA, for example. They're looking into perhaps moving, to Mexico, all right? Because they offers so much more opportunity, so much more freedom, so much more, availability for them to start a business, for them to, live their lives, better educate their kids, whatever it is. So all these things, are alive and well in Mexico. And there's so much variety. There's so much, to choose from. As opposed to in the USA, where you might you might go to the store and you might see 700 different brands of shampoo. That's the choice that you have. But when it comes to other real important things, like schooling, let's say you have kids and you want to put your kids in, a certain school, you want to teach them a certain thing, you really don't have that much choice. You either put them in public school or you pay a lot of money for private school. And if you do anything in between, they're already sending DHS after you to make sure that you're, doing the right thing. Where in Mexico's not like that at all. Like even Christian, my wife, she, wasn't born, what is it, like high, class. What is it, like upper class or anything like that, or upper middle class? No, she was a poor Mexican. Okay, just like I was a poor American, okay? But long story short, she was a poor Mexican, and yet her parents, her dad, was able to sacrifice himself enough, work extra hard, and put her in a private school. And a lot of Mexicans do that. In fact, that's why a lot of Mexicans work extra hard, so that, they can put their kids in a private school. Why? Because private school here is affordable. Okay, yeah, you can go to public school, but it's a lot more affordable than what you would have to pay in the USA for a private school. Okay, and there's just so many other things like that. And because there's so much actual capitalism and choice out here, and so little government intervention, so little rules and regulations, and all these other barriers to entry. It allows people, so like for example, let's say that you need medicine, there's a bunch of places, that you can go to, okay? A lot of pharmacies, a lot of doctors, and they charge all kinds of amounts. Again, you can go to doctors that are going to charge you $3 to $4 a visit, and others that are going to charge you $40 to $50 a visit. You got the choice. And everything in between. And same thing with medicine. And same thing with, just so many other things. So again, look, when I see other, people out there, other YouTubers, other whatever, complaining about, the high cost of living, for example, again, it's because, well, they're shopping in the fancy, grocery stores. And again, you got the choice to do whatever you want. There's nothing, I'm not saying anything against that. You can do whatever you want. I go to the grocery store too, okay, to pick up certain things. But the reality is that, look, I'll give you a quick example. Look, here, this is a battery, okay? This is a battery, okay? If I go to the grocery store and I get, 4 batteries, these 4 batteries are going to cost me 160 pesos, okay? Or something like that, okay? So what is 160 pesos, okay? Just to give you an example. Okay, so it's like almost $10 for 4 batteries. You're like, bro, that's expensive. That's probably more expensive than the USA. But this battery, I needed 1 battery for this one thing here. So this 1 battery, I actually bought it at the little corner store the other day. 1 battery. Just like they'll sell you a Lucy cigarette, right? Anyways, 1 battery. How much was 1 battery? Okay, this 1 battery was 13 pesos, which is 78 cents. Okay, so 26, 52. Okay, so 4 batteries at the grocery store. 4 batteries at the corner store. Okay, the corner store, the mom and pop store. 4 batteries is 52 pesos, which is $3.13, not $9.60 something cents. You see what I'm saying? And there's so many things like that. So it's batteries, it's screwdrivers, it's fruits and vegetables, it's meat, it's so many things. It's so many things. Okay, so that's the thing. If you go out there and you are, being a patron to the mom and pop stores, then you're gonna get the cheapest price available. But if all you want to do is go to Walmart, go to Soriana, go to Chedraui, go to whatever grocery store, again, the fancier the grocery store, the more you're gonna pay for these things. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now, for example, let's say I want to get a bottle of wine. Look, I'm not going to get a bottle of wine at the corner store. I'm not even going to get a bottle of wine at the Oxto, or 7-Eleven. But you know where I can get a bottle of wine? All these other grocery stores. But, again, if I go to the Mexican grocery store, they're going to be charging me $10, okay, or more, okay, for a bottle of wine. I can go to Walmart and I can get a bottle of wine for like $5 or $6, okay? So it's just little things like that. All right. So, but again, am I buying wine every day? No. I buy like a bottle of wine maybe once or twice, once a month or once every 2 months. Okay. And a lot of times I use the wine for cooking more than anything else. So it's a luxury. Do I need wine? No, I don't. All right. Now, if I want to drink, okay, well, I can get beer. All right. And there's, alcohol, and there's so many other things. And so, it's just so many levels to this, okay? So if you are, let's say you drink whiskey, okay, and your bottle of whiskey now, it used to be 300 pesos, but now it's 500 pesos, and you refuse to, and by the way, not only is it 500 pesos, but on top of that, you know what I mean? Like it's the exchange rate, so it's really more like 700 pesos, and you refuse to drink anything else except for that bottle of Jameson or whatever it is you're buying. Well, yeah, of course, things are going to get crazy expensive. But if all of a sudden you like just bite the bullet and say, hey, look, I just need my whiskey, or it is what it is, and I'll go and I'll buy a bottle of Ballantines or whatever the hell it is, something that's, it tastes pretty good. And all of a sudden that bottle is not as expensive. And so on and so forth. So you get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, there's many levels to this. You know what I mean? So, the reality is that, the whole Mexican dream is that you have, out here, you have choice. Again, when you're coming out here, like I was saying earlier, especially if you're not retired, okay? If you're retired, I get it. You're not going to work. But if you're not retired, okay, basically from 30 years, if you're 30, by the way, I've interviewed and I've talked to people that are coming out here that are in their 20s. So again, if you're moving out here, anything under retirement age, you have to, expect that you are going to have to assimilate at some point to the Mexican culture and start earning in Mexican pesos. And so even though right now, again, you might not be able to charge American prices, you got to realize that you're not paying American prices here. You're paying Mexican prices, and you got to act accordingly. If you know anything about business, you should know what you're doing. We can go to the USA, look at a restaurant like In-N-Out. For some of you guys that know In-N-Out, the hamburger place, why is it that they can serve fresh food, have a super high quality of customer service? What is it like? What else was I going to say? Oh, and they keep the prices low. Okay, well, because they know how to do business. But when you go to McDonald's, you're paying $18 for a Big Mac, a Coke, and fries. So, this is something economics. We could be talking about this the whole live stream, but that's not what the live stream is about. The live stream is about that Mexican dream. And, the reality is that just like many people were seeking that American dream so many years ago, and they were moving to America, again, not just for financial freedom. In fact, that was not really the first thing on their mind. The first thing on people's mind back in the day, and still today, when moving to the USA, is seeking just freedom. Freedom from tyranny, freedom from horrible, whatever it is they're leaving from. Well, it's the same thing. You got to remember, a lot of you guys out there in the audience, you're looking into moving to Mexico for freedom, for a better and higher quality of life. Okay? And so what does that mean? Well, that you can come out here and you can open up, that you can come out here and you can open up your own little corner store. You can come out here and sell barbecue ribs. You can come out here and provide your services to others, okay? And by others, I mean Mexicans, all right? You can teach guitar lessons. You can teach, swimming lessons. You can do whatever. Okay, whatever. But you gotta come out here, and you gotta come out here with a different mentality. You gotta understand that if you're leaving your country because you felt that it's not your country anymore, that you're being kicked out of your country, that you're being forgotten in your own country, and you're seeking refuge in another country, in this case Mexico, well, you gotta act accordingly. Meaning that, okay, this is your new country, so then you gotta start your new life here, and that includes, you have to figure out a way to make income. So if all of a sudden you're relying on that Mexican peso, and you're not relying on whatever dollar or whatever other currency from, whatever country you're from, well, you really got nothing to worry about. You're going to be, moving on up like all the other Mexicans. All the Mexicans that are benefiting extensively, okay, from this economic boom, well, you can also take part in that. But if you're coming out here with your dollars that are just constantly losing value, and it's going to continue losing value. I've been saying this for a long time now, for years, okay? But anyways, if you're coming out here with your dollar and it's continuously losing value, okay, next to this strong currency, and you're just putting, you're relying on solely that, well, yeah, it's going to get worse, and it's going to get more expensive to the point where it's going to become unlivable for you, okay? And again, if you're only coming out here for monetary reasons, for financial reasons, then that might not be the place for you. Again, the Mexican dream is about, you being able to come out here and start a brand new life, have have some faith, not faith, what's the word I'm looking for, but have hope, okay, that you will be able to have a better life, a better quality of life. And again, you'll be able to, take care of your mental health, take care of your actual physical health. You'll be able to do so many things that you're just not able to do in the USA. So, all right, we're going to, take a 2-second break here, so I can answer some comments and things like that. Okay, shout out to Infamous, where is it? Yeah, shout out to Infamous New York City with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. What's a bureaucracy like when it comes to opening up a business? How involved does the government get? Is it like the States with license and fees and such? Okay, that's a great question. I've actually made videos on that, talking about that. In fact, let me see if I can find the video while I talk about this, so you can just watch a whole video, because I'm just going to give you a quick overview on how that works. But look, the reality is that in order for you to start a business out here in Mexico, it is a lot easier and a lot less restrictive than it is in the USA. Okay? Okay, here, I'm going to put the link. Hold on a second. Starting. I think, is that going to work? Sorry. No, wrong link. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so there, in that video, I speak more in depth. But look, long story short, how it works in Mexico is that you can start a business in Mexico, okay, without having to get any business license or any kind of permission or any kind of anything, okay? Now, the smaller the business, the less they care about anything. The bigger the business, that's when you're going to have to start doing just like the USA. Again, but it's still easier. It's still not easier, but like less restrictive, okay, is what I'm trying to say. Because, one can argue about, how easy or the bureaucracy or whatever. But meaning, you're not going to have like, government agents, coming to your business all the time asking you for money or asking you to, inspectors and this and that. Okay, not to the level of the USA. So for example, I'll give you a quick example. Let's just say that you want to open up a business selling, I don't know, brownies out of your house, or selling, what is it, Indian curry, or selling Cuban sandwiches out of your house. And you're just planning on, opening up a little stand in front of your house, or you plan on, selling things on Facebook or whatever. Listen, they don't care. They don't care. You're like, it's not even it's totally legal for you to do that. And you got no problems with anything like that, okay? So, but the minute that you say, okay, I'm going to put up a storefront, or I'm going to have like a food truck, or I'm going to, again, formalize the business. I'm going to have I sell soap and shampoo, but I'm going to now have a store at the mall, whatever. Okay, so then at that point, you got to have some, just a regular business license. So again, business license which is, again, it's like a blank license, okay? It just means it's a business for you to conduct business. What business? That's your business, okay? So, they're not, it's not like, not like in the U.S. where you need, depending on what you do, depending on the business, license. And then, like, for example, just like in the USA, my mom, she does nails, right? She does nails and hair and things like that. And she needs to not only have a license, but she also needs to have, she has to have a test that she has to take, and she has to go through all this accreditation, and she has to go through all this stuff. Again, she has to go through more than a police officer does. Again, a police officer just pass a test. Here's your gun. Here's your badge. Go be a cop. My mom, she has to go through so many more. She has to jump through so many more hoops and do so much more just to do your mom's nails. You follow me? We're out here, it's not like that at all. Out here, you want to be a barber, and you want to have a barber shop, you just need a business license. That's it. Just like if you're selling, again, barbecue ribs, out of a store, you're selling soap and shampoo, or you're selling horse feed, whatever. Same license. It's just a license to conduct business. That's it. And you got to pay your taxes. That's it. Easy peasy. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at, and then you're not going to have an inspector, coming to your, nail salon to make sure that you got the right liquid for the nails and the this and the hair. No, nobody cares. You're cutting hair and you're doing nails. If you do a bad job, word of mouth will get around and nobody will go visit you. Same thing as dog food. Nobody cares. Again, unless you're out there, killing dogs, unfortunately, due to the, like your bad food, and your bad service, no one's going to care. And the same thing goes with everything else, if you're selling tacos, if you're getting people sick, nobody's going to go to your taco stand. That's it. So you don't need all these inspectors and government agents and all this bureaucracy to constantly hover about you or over you in order to get things done. So, but long story short, like I said, so let's just say that you start a small business, okay? Even if you do have a storefront. Let's just say you're starting right off the bat. Okay, I'm going to have a storefront. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to do that, whatever. Well, the barrier to entry is also like smaller. So for example, let's say that you're selling shampoo and you're selling hair products or whatever, and you want to have a store at the mall, whatever, and you're just starting out. Believe it or not, you don't need a license right away. From my understanding. Again, please seek legal advice if you're going to go this far, go hard this quickly. But all I'm saying is that you can have that business and you got like a leeway of like 3 months, okay, before you actually got to formalize the business. So you can, why? The reason is because it is understood that, many businesses might not succeed after a few months because, the people doesn't know how to conduct business, or it's just a bad business idea, or, people just are not buying your shampoo or whatever you're selling, brownies, But the point I'm making is that you have a 3-month leeway, like a 3-month kind of grace period, for you to have your business without any kind of paperwork, okay? And that at some point after those 3 months, you'll have some government agent knock on your door, and you're, at the mall stand or whatever you're doing, and be like, hey, I noticed that you don't have a business license. Can I see one? And they'll be like, oh, I don't have one yet because, I'm just starting out. Oh, okay, but we've noticed that you've been here, 4 months already. So you know that you got to have a business license. So you know what? I'm gonna, give you like a little citation. It's not a citation. It's just more like a notice that you got to go get your license. So I'm gonna come visit you in another month. And if you don't have your license by then we're gonna have a problem. Okay? But if you have your license, then no big deal. No harm, no foul. So again, it's so much easier and less restrictive, okay, out here. But like I said, even if, how many Mexicans do you see on a regular basis, especially when you're out here, you'll see them. They're selling everything, and doing all kinds of things without any kind of like business license or any kind of accreditation or any kind of anything, okay? Now, again, for example, you can go door to door selling hats and you don't need anything. Any paperwork, any business license, anything. But if you're going to be selling those same hats in the tourist section in the center of the city, yeah, at some point they're going to be like, hey, you need like a little license or a little something, to pay some taxes to the government, so that you can sell your hats here in the very desirable touristy area. But if you just want to sell your hats, going walking around through the neighborhood selling it door to door, you don't need anything. So like I said, there's many levels to this. So like the more informal the business, the less they're going to care. And the less you got to like follow any rules, or, assuming there's even any rules to begin with. But the more formal you try to make it, that's when things get a little, when you do have to follow certain rules. And by the way, you can also check out my channel where I've interviewed business owners, Mexican business owners and foreigners that are business owners, okay? And they talk a little bit more about that, okay? That whole aspect, okay? So again, very recently, I did a video with Sophie. She's French, okay? She moved out here from France and started up a French restaurant. I also talked to my friend Bernardo. He has an Italian restaurant, and he moved from New Jersey. And I can go on and on, okay? So, and then, my barber, I've interviewed my own barber, okay? And he's Mexican born and raised. And he said, yeah, I got my business license like 40 years ago or whatever it was. And that's the same license I ever had. I never had to renew anything. And that same license is, again, if I don't want to if I don't want to be a barber anymore and I want to just start selling bicycle parts, I can use that same license, okay? So, and by the way, I see someone that's trolling in the chat and they're saying, it's like, oh, you got to pay the cartel or you got to pay the extortion or you got to pay listen, like again, in the USA, you have, government agents. Yeah, sorry about the dog. Someone's dog is barking over there. Anyways, in the USA, you have government agents that, will come to your door and they're going to try to extort you from money. Again, you got to follow these rules. You got to follow all this stuff. You got to have all these licenses. You got to So they just formalized, robbing you. They just formalized that whole aspect of taking your money. And people call it freedom. Out here, like I said, it's a very, very minimal kind of enforcement of that. And in Mexico, yeah, there are certain areas where you might have like the cartel kind of like, hey, you got to pay a certain fee every month, like in the mafia, in order to conduct business. But at the end of the day, again, compared to the USA and the fees and the government agents and the rules and the regulation, it's very different. So. And by the way, again, I don't want to get into it right now, okay, with the person in the chat. Again, it's not about cheaper. If you're just looking into moving to Mexico for cheaper, then you just move somewhere else. You just mentioned there, there's a bunch of countries out there that are cheaper, or, according to you or according to, some reality out there. Yeah, you're right. There are countries that are cheaper. But again, it's about the quality of life. If you're moving to Mexico, it's for a completely different reason. Again, even if the dollar were 1-to-1 with the Mexican peso, I would still live in Mexico, again, over the USA. All right? Or even Thailand. Why would I move to Thailand? I'm sure they got pretty good food there, but that means I got to learn, Thailandese or whatever they speak over there, Thai, right? Out here, I speak Spanish, so I can just speak Spanish here. And it's a lot closer to the American culture that I grew up with. So, and my family, my family is in Miami. They're right there. They can come visit like that. My family's not going to come visit me in Thailand, or I'm not going to, so I can go on and on. So there's many reasons okay, why you would want to move to Mexico or not move to Mexico. But if it's only monetary, then yeah, I suggest that you don't move to Mexico, especially as things are going. Because again, as the Mexican economy gets stronger, as the dollar loses value, as the peso gets stronger, and I could go on and on. It's the perfect storm, that, for you, if you're only coming out here to save a few bucks, it's not going to go well for you. But again, I live on 1,500 a month. Okay, so and I'm living very well. I'm living great. I'm living a better life here than I would in the USA by far. Okay, again, not just the freedom, not just the quality of life, not just the health benefits, but again, there's so too many to mention here. All right, so hope that makes a lot more sense. By the way, now that I got everybody's attention here, before we go deeper into the comments section, by the way, let me know if there's a dog that's barking. There's I guess someone's getting a delivery or whatever. Let me know if it's too loud, okay? So I can close the door here or whatever. Hopefully you don't even hear the dog, through my microphone. But look, now that I got everybody's attention real quick, I just want to let you guys know, okay, that later on today, for anyone out there that's a baseball fan, remember today is opening day. All right, opening day for baseball. But anyways, I'm going to be doing an opening day special. So please, come check out Jose Unleashed. You guys know every Thursday, as soon as I'm done with my live stream here on this channel, we go to my other channel and I go wild. I'm unleashed over there. So, if you want to see further, if you want to go a little deeper into my life and, how I live my life and the stories and all the adventures I've been on, go check out my other channel. Again, we talk about why I became a cook in one of my past episodes. The time I worked at a strip club. That time I sunk a boat off the coast of Miami. The time I got thrown out of Disney. And so many other topics. Why Americans cannot cook. Yeah. And by the way, it's all comedy. Please understand that, okay? So for anyone out there before they get too triggered. But anyways, today I love baseball. It's baseball's opening day, and that's what we're gonna be covering in today's episode. So for anyone out there that's interested in that, please, go check that out. Go to my website. Go to my channel. I'm going to post a quick link in the chat. Oh, you cannot hear the dog? Great, thank you. So I'm going to post a quick link, okay? So you guys can go over there, subscribe, whether or not you join me today. That's, up to you. But at the very least, you can check out, my other stories and check out, what else I got, go in there. So I just posted a link. All right. And I hope to see you guys there. Okay, so let's go back to the chat. Oh, by the way, please, a little shameless plug. Please visit my website for free information. Again, if you're looking into moving to Mexico, okay, and you want a bunch of free resources, okay, or just resources, all right? Free resources on moving to Mexico, free resources on moving to Mérida, because I live in Mérida, Yucatan. So I got, here, I'll just give you a quick look. Okay, so free helpful links. So if you're moving to Mexico, you can watch these videos so you can see, what the websites are or how you can find, the best deal for rentals, or even when you're trying to buy some property, but let's just looking for rentals. So again, watch that video, and I got all those links right above, okay, to websites that, again, that the locals use in order to find housing. The Mexican version of apartments.com or whatever it is. Everything you need to know before renting, and then just a bunch of other useful things. If you need a special MasterCard for if you're a foreigner, you're on a tourist visa, you need some sort of banking solution, you need an apostille, you need to speak Spanish, whatever it is. I got all that. Also jobs, if you need digital nomad jobs, I got a bunch of list of a bunch of jobs there. If you're moving to Mérida, Yucatan, and you need some, special resources, special help, again, personal assistant right there, okay? You need a vet or grooming services. You need a lawyer. These are all people that I use, okay, that I vet, okay? They're friends of the show and friends of you guys, for some of you guys that use it. Look, there's the barber, okay, that I was talking to you about when they're talking about business. There's, La Cecilia, which is, the guy from New Jersey who came out here, Italian food, and so many other videos and useful information. And last thing I'm going to say is, if you want a personalized one-on-one consultation, again, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, in a one-on-one conversation, please, reach out to me there. Just, send me an email and we can set that up. Okay. The price is 2,000 pesos a session. All right. But again, you can just kind of do your own exchange rate, your own, you can do your own exchange or whatever on that. Okay. But anyways, that's my website. That's my information. Again, hope to see you guys at the game, in a little while. All right, let's just get back into it. And again, go to my website. My YouTube page as well, okay? On my YouTube page, I got, again, you can just click up here, and search, let's say business, okay? And you're going to get videos on business, okay? Or real estate or whatever. You could just type in whatever there, okay? Okay? All right. All right, let's get back to the show. Thank you guys for allowing me to plug, the sponsor for today's show, which is me. I sponsor my own show. So let me, don't forget to hit the like and all that good stuff. Okay. Thank you for all the awesomeness. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Pablo Fernandez. He's in Spanish in the chat. He's saying, cierto, para la mayoría de los negocios no se necesita nada, se llaman negocios informales. So yeah, so again, if you are starting an informal business, as I was saying, and you know what informal business is, okay? Like I said, you're just starting out, you're selling brownies or services out of your house or whatever. You don't need any kind of licenses or any kind of anything. But the minute that you start really formalizing that business, that's when you're going to start needing all that stuff. So look, for example, a video that I did recently. Here, I'll show you guys so you guys can see. Okay, there it is. Here, let me show you guys so you guys can get an idea of another informal business idea. So you guys can see in this video here, okay, that I did. This is a Paseo Montejo on Sunday mornings, okay? So on Sunday mornings, a lot of people gather on Paseo Montejo and they're artists and they sell their artwork. None of these people have any kind of business license or any kind of, they don't got to do anything when it comes to the government, okay? They basically just got to join the group. Okay, which I explain everything in this in this video. So again, if you're an artist, no matter what you do, whether you paint, whether you play music, whatever you do, okay? Like I said, you can watch this video for more information on what it is to do this. Again, like I said, you just join the little group and then you can come out there and sell your artwork or, get clients, for commission or whatever it is. Okay, but at the end of the day, again, this is informal. This would be considered informal business. You're not going to have no government agent there, being like, hey, where's my tax money? Where's my money? None of that shit, okay? Sorry, none of that stuff. My apologies. Okay. Is it possible to move my camper down there? Yes, you can. My really good friend Dave and his wife Rebecca, so Dave and Rebecca, they moved out here with their camper. And, they bought a house and they live out here now. They're retired or semi-retired, but they got a camper and they still have it. And they use that camper, to go camping, So every once in a while, even we'll tag along, me and Christian, we'll tag along with them and we'll go out to the beach with them. And they got a camper and it's awesome, So yeah, you can bring your camper. You can bring, all that stuff here. So. Oh, shout out to Wilfredo with the $2 super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. All right. So yeah, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to business out here, it's, I feel like it's a lot less restrictive and you have a lot more freedom and choice and all this other stuff than you do in the USA. So shout out to Wilfredo Sylvia for the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Muchis. So, let me see if there's any. By the way, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. All right, and we will. I'll see if I can, answer a few questions before we head out. Before we, I got to go to the baseball game, right? So we got the baseball game to catch. Don't want to miss opening day. Lee Martinez says, if you open a bank account in Mexico, okay. So he's saying Okay, so look. Because I don't want to repeat something because I know some people are only listening to me and they're not reading or anything like that. So look, Lee Martinez is saying that you need an RFC. You do not need an RFC. If you're going to open up a bank account in Mexico, all you need is your residency, so temporary or permanent residency card, okay? You need a CFE bill, which is a light bill. The light bill does not have to be in your name because, again, we know that if you're renting, the light bill is going to be in someone else's name. So, again, a light bill, any address, okay? Your residency card, don't forget that your passport, and a phone that you can install the Mexican banking app on. That's it. You do not need RFC or anything else, okay? So anyways, he's asking, would having a bank account, would that trigger having to declare income from the U.S. even if that income is paid to your U.S. bank account? Okay, so listen. Don't be coming to me for tax information or financial advice or information. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that if you are a U.S. citizen, you need to pay taxes to Uncle Sam. Also, if you have more than $10,000 at once in a Mexican bank account, you also have to declare that to the USA. All right? And there's a bunch of other things there. Also, if you are outside of the USA and you are earning solely, money from another country, okay? Basically, how it works is that anything under $100,000 in earnings is non-taxable. But you still got to do your taxes and you got to declare and blah, 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 blah. So, okay, so it's all, okay, so, but like I said, if you're worried about that, seek professional tax help on all that, okay? But again, you don't want to know what I have to say, what I really think about, what taxes are and all that. Again, don't get me started on all that. But so to me, it's, again, as an American, as a U.S. citizen, that's unfortunately one of the things that you would have to deal with no matter where you live. You can live on Mars, whatever. You still got to do your taxes. You got to still, make sure to tell Uncle Sam what you're doing or what you're at. Or otherwise, you already know. All right, so Michael says, Jose, hope all is well. Can a person qualify if they are disability retired from government job? I don't know what you're talking about. Qualify for what? Qualify for residency? Yeah, anyone can qualify for residency. Again, if you are looking into... Remember, I've talked about it multiple times, okay? Please, check out here. I'm going to go to my website, okay? So you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? Sorry, to my webpage, okay? Okay, look, residency. Okay, residency. And right off the bat, okay, you're going to see some videos, okay? I'm going to advise you guys to watch this video. This one is the most... comprehensive on what you need for residency. All right. Hold on. Oh, did I do it right? Okay. Okay. But anyways, long story short, anyone can get there's many ways, to get residency, okay? And one of the ways to get residency is through the R&E program, okay? Don't be continuing to think that the only way to get residency in Mexico is to meet financial requirements. That's just one of the routes, okay? So if you do not meet financial requirements for whatever the reason, then there's other choices, okay? Other avenues for you to get your residency. So watch that video for more information on what what you can do, okay? But I highly suggest, going through the RNE program. That's the easiest and, more, pain-free, way in which you can get your residency, all right? So, I think, so anyways, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know, all right? And we'll see if we can cover them before we head out. Otherwise, we're going to be heading out soon. I'm just scouring the chat to see if there's any questions. All right. So, okay. Okay. So anyways, guys, all right, I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's show. As always, hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. If you're into baseball, okay, and you want to join me, okay, join me in a little bit, come and check it out, okay? We'll have some fun, hilarity. So again, on this channel, we just do fun and games, what is it, like just comedy. In today's video, we're going to be talking about baseball. Again, it's the, baseball home opener, the baseball opener, for, MLB. I'm a big baseball fan. So as a Cuban from Miami, we love our baseball. We're going to be watching the Marlins game, but we're going to be talking about baseball. We're going to be talking about stories. We're going to just, again, as you know what we do, how we do on the channel, it's not just, it's mostly stories and fun times and all that stuff. So please, again, you can check out, if you don't want to check out the baseball, you can check out, the other videos that I've done, talking about how I became a chef, and all the other stories. You guys, I'm not going to repeat them again. You guys can see them yourself. All right. So, but I think that's it, guys. I think we're going to just, wrap this bad boy up. I see there's no questions or anybody else, out there, wanting to ask me anything. So, guys, again, the Mexican dream is alive and well. If you're moving to Mexico, it's to chase that is to chase that Mexican dream, and it's not the American dream. Unfortunately, the American dream in the USA is not, available anymore for a typical American. Even certain immigrants, they're choosing not to move to the USA anymore because that American dream, basically is kind of like, burnt up, into the ether. But there is a huge opportunity for you if you want to come out here and achieve the Mexican dream and live the Mexican dream, okay? Again, Mexico has many benefits. It doesn't just have, the best tacos in the world. There's so many benefits. Again, we've talked about it in today's video, as to what it is to live out here. And like I said, even if the dollar and the peso were to be 1-to-1, meaning that the Mexican economy is amazing and the U.S. economy is trash, and again, the exchange rate would still be 1-to-1, I would still live here 1 million times out of a million. There's no way I would ever go back to the USA, especially the way things are right now. I'm not ruling out I wouldn't go back in the future, but the way things are heading, why would I want to go back there? Why would I want to live there? Why would I want to, go back to that horrible life when I have such an amazing life here, living the Mexican dream that a lot of you guys, are seeking. A lot of you guys really want as well. Again, the Mexican dream, again, it's about a better quality of life, a better culture, a better, the ability to improve your mental health, if not just, cure it altogether, improve your physical health, and just so many other factors, that really make life out here amazing. Okay? So you already know the deal, guys. All right, let me see a few more questions. Do they broadcast Major League Baseball in Merida? Yeah, I mean, how else am I going to be watching the game, So, but yes, there are ways to watch baseball, just like there's ways to watch NFL football and so many other things, outside of the country, okay? Colleen says, you got to be, that's right, if you believe in order for you to believe the American dream, you got to be asleep to believe it. Shout out to George Carlin out there. Excellent live stream with real value and actionable advice. Thank you, Jose. Hey, you're very welcome. And sorry I called you a troll. I apologize. Anyways, and JD Birch says, nice show. Thank you very much. I fly to Querétaro on the 15th to complete my canje. All right. Congratulations. Congratulations on your residency. And again, congratulations to everyone else out there, that's on your own path doing whatever it is you're doing. And I hope some of you guys have been able to make it out here to Mexico, or are well on your way to make it out here to Mexico. We've talked about it before in other videos where, I understand completely, that, the hardest part of leaving the USA is actually leaving the USA, okay? And even once you're out here in Mexico, how you're still tied to the USA in many ways. And so I get it. Trust me, I get it. I myself, as as much as I want to be untied and untethered, from the USA, unfortunately, I'm still, attached to the USA in one shape, form, or another. And it is what it is. So I totally understand and I totally get it. Okay. So, all right, guys, you already know the deal. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And till the next one. Bye-bye, guys. Hopefully see you on the baseball stream, okay? So hopefully I'll see you there. All right? Bye, guys. Bye. Everybody's doing the fish. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go Marlins. Woo-hoo! Later. I know. We're all delusional in one shape, form, or another, okay? So, bye.